Hello guys, meet again with Queen MMA. Amanda Nunes is the greatest UFC women's fighter today. Amanda Nunes is the holder of 2 different UFC championship belt titles, and not only that, she is the current UFC women's #1 pound-for-pound fighter. There is currently nothing left in the MMA universe for Amanda Nunes. All the stars and all the champions have been finished, including UFC's flagship fighter, Ronda Rousey, years ago. There are only a handful of people who can win 2 belts in 2 different divisions, and Amanda Nunes is one of them. 2 titles owned by Amanda Nunes are bantamweight champion and women's featherweight champion. Some fighters who have 2 different belt titles include Conor McGregor, Daniel Cormier, and Henry Cejudo. Amanda Nunes himself currently has a 21-4-0 record. Some of these reasons make Nunes worthy of the title of greatest of all time. At first, Nunes had a fighting record that was not too impressive at the beginning of his career. Even in the 13 early fights he lived, Amanda Nunes had recorded 4 defeats. However, that all changed when she entered a power struggle in the bantamweight, namely at UFC 193 in 2015, when she met Ronda Rousey, who was the queen of the UFC at the time. Amanda Nunes at that time was impressively able to beat Ronda Rousey, who was favored by many people. Amanda Nunes even only needed 48 seconds to finish off Ronda Rousey. When the UFC Women's Bantamweight division was first played in 2012, the division had 4 champions besides Amanda Nunes. They were Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm, and Tate. But in fact, they have all been defeated by Amanda Nunes. And what's even more surprising is, they all lost in just 1 round. Likewise in featherweight, which was launched in 2017, at that time, there were 3 big names besides Amanda Nunes. They were Cris Cyborg and Germaine de Randamie. But again it's the same, both of them also after being succumbed to the hands of Nunes. Cris Cyborg himself is the scariest woman in MMA because few women want to fight him. Cris Cyborg has a 21 record, and even Cris Cyborg has not lost in more than a decade. Of course, when Amanda Nunes managed to beat Cris Cyborg, it took everyone by surprise. Moreover, Amanda Nunes only took less than 1 minute to make the fierce female fighter fall. Then later, Amanda Nunes beat Holm in the first round until she then showed that she was the best by defeating Germaine de Randamie, the former women's featherweight champion. There is news saying that Amanda Nunes will retire and will focus on being a housewife. That's because Amanda Nunes has proven that she is the best, and there is no longer a commensurate opponent to fight with her in the UFC. That's what then made Dana White, the president of the UFC, almost desperate. Dana White only had one option, which was to bring Amanda Nunes to the flyweight champion at the time, Valentina Shevchenko. But it will also be a less interesting fight, because Valentina Shevchenko has met Amanda Nunes twice and always ended in defeat. Although, Dana White was confused to find an opponent. Dana White would be even more desperate if Amanda Nunes did retire. But finally, Amanda Nunes returned to the octagon ring again by defeating Felicia Spencer at UFC 250 in June 2020 via the referee's decision after a fierce 5-round fight. Amanda Nunes then destroyed Felicia Spencer's facial structure at UFC 250 by creating a massive 2.5 centimeters diameter bump on the Canadian fighter's forehead. There was a touching event at that time, where Amanda Nunes lowered the intensity of her attacks in the last round after she was sure she would win with a unanimous decision. The fight ended, then Amanda Nunes took her championship belt and wrapped it around Spencer's shoulder. They then embraced warmly. Nunes at that time said, "I've lost. I know how he feels," Nunes was quoted as saying by the Las Vegas Sun. That is one of Amanda Nunes' warm traits. But when she's in the octagon, Amanda Nunes can be fierce. In addition to defeating Felicia Spencer, Amanda Nunes also defeated Megan Anderson at UFC 259 in March 2021 via a triangle armbar submission in the first round. The next match scheduled for Amanda Nunes is against Juliana Pena, which will be held at UFC 269 in December 2021. Can Amanda Nunes win back her fight against Juliana Pena at UFC 269 December? Don't forget to write your opinion in the comments column and like and share the video. See you in another video. See ya.